Hello, good evening. I am so excited to be joined by these two fabulous authors this evening. We are going to have a lovely time. This has been less than 2 weeks in the making. I can't even believe what we've been able to do in 2 weeks, and it's all culminating tonight. So I'm just so excited. I'll introduce myself first. My name is B. My channel is Mama Needs to Read Romance. You can find me on Instagram and, of course, here on YouTube. And I'm very, very honored to be joined by these two fabulous ladies. Nicki, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Sure. I'm Nicki Pascarella, author, and I run the Wanton Wallflowers, which is a super, super duper fun interactive reader group. And Gio is one of my partners in crime, and she has been working on this super cool project. So I am so happy that B was able to help her bring this to fruition. So I can't wait for you guys all to see what Gio has for us tonight.
And Gio?
Okay, thank you so much, V, for agreeing to do this, and Nikki for always being there for my crazy projects. And I think this idea of the one-tone wallflower, this character, came from the group that Nikki created, and that she invited 6 amazing authors to participate. And we started. Posting in the group, and it is just such a fun place to be. And I realized that every woman has these two sides, that we are all wallflowers and all shy in some sense, with our own insecurities, but also we have this wanton side that craves adventure and this amazing fun side of romance, and that's why we are all here. And so I started writing the stories about this character, and I think it just get each story gets crazier and more fun to write and hopefully to read as well. And I hope everyone reads the medieval one, because it was we had a medieval month in the group. So hopefully it will be as fun to read and as it was to write.
Oops, we can't hear you, B.
Thank goodness I made a mistake quite early. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay. That would be my children downstairs being loud and me trying not to make a big noise. What I was attempting to say is that I have had the pleasure of reading this, so I can attest to the fact that it is indeed as fun to read as it was to write. Just so exciting. We have so many people joining us this evening. I just want to take a moment and say hello to everybody. We're so thrilled that you're here and you get to enjoy this night with us. This unprecedented evening. We've been practicing and sharing messages, and I can say that I did not know what hyping was until I met the two of you. It was amazing. Amazing. I've loved all the little treats that we've been treated to leading up to tonight. So I'm just so excited. We're just going to have a lovely evening. So hello to all. We're just going to have such a special time. Okay, so next up, I'm going to be reading this special story, this medieval tale written by the fabulous Gio. And, but I wanted to let you know that if you would like to, during the reading, you can head to, let's see, I'm going to show my slides right now. Nikki, I believe. Nikki, you made this, right?
Yes, it's a coloring page. Because those of you who know me know that I just love to make color. I love arts and crafts time. So, if the teacher and I was a high school teacher, and I still made my kids do arts and crafts time. But I started coloring mine. But there's a page, and so if you go to my website, there's a PDF. I should have the exact link there, so you don't have to look all over my website. You just go down Walton Wildflowers. And you can print out the PDF, and then you can color while B is reading. And then anybody who wants to share them can always share them in the Wanton Wallflowers or wherever. So anyway, So, because I know some people while you're reading, you like to doodle or do something. So
I actually just linked to the coloring page in the comments as well. So anyone can click right on that, print it off, and enjoy. So this
and
is
you
so
will
great.
see, you get a little clue here. We have some mixed historical periods here, which is on purpose. So, you know, so you'll understand why we had that.
Yes, I know. It's so exciting. And I love this. I love this coloring page, Nikki. This is so fun. In addition to the coloring page, we're doing a reading tonight where you all will choose how it ends. There's more. Maybe you've heard that there's also a giveaway, multiple giveaways, actually. Some incredible authors have joined us and are donating their books for this giveaway, to include Virginie. I probably said it wrong. She's French. So already Terry, one of my good French speaking friends, is probably already rolling her eyes at me. Marconato, A Savior for Bronwyn. These are all medieval tales, by the way. Does anyone know how she pronounces her first name?
Virginie.
Virginie. Perfect. I love it.
At least that's how yeah.
Isn't that her? And her profile picture is absolutely out of this world. Spectacular. How perfect. So one of her books will be up in the giveaway this evening, along with Steffy Smith. She is giving 3 of her books different. We have a Viking, her Viking Savior, The Bonniest Lass in Scotland, which is a Highlander, and then another Highlander, Highland Heartbreaker. 2 of these, by the way, are Highland Hearts series. So you can get books 1 and 2 if you win tonight. And also the queen herself, Kathryn Le Veque, I believe she pronounces her name. She's donated 2, Master of the Dawn and Unending Love, 2 medieval romances. So we're just so excited. So, oh, good. I did it correctly. Thank you, Terry. So one thing to do, you can either do this now or you can do it when we have our sprints. We're actually going to have some sprints this evening. And after the reading, when everyone gets to read their own version of how this story will end. I know, Tracy, right? So exciting. You can write in your name in the chat, put your name and tell me that you would like to be entered in the giveaway. And after the sprints, we will spin and we will find out who wins tonight. So do let me know in the chat now, or you can wait until the sprints if you want to think about it. But we'll make sure that everyone who mentions that they want to win in the chat will be entered to potentially win this evening. All right. Now, without further ado, we need to talk about some disclaimers. There is much to, of course they're doing this. There we are. Boom. We want to welcome you, of course, tonight. But, this is a night like none other. We want everyone to be safe. So we've got some disclaimers to talk about, to include, let's see here. Oh, and I just hold on one second. I just accidentally exited out. Okay. Let's see. Here we are. Nope, not doing that. Oh no. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. And all my little tabs. This is what happens when I have too many tabs. Here we go. Okay. Now we are going to share screen. And here we go. And okay, we are better now. Now we're bam. Okay, here we go. So, welcome, as I mentioned. I'm going to have Nicki read some of this for you. We've got some safety announcements.
This is serious, could be seriously hazardous. So you must follow these safety guides.
Yes, please do tell us, Nicki, first and foremost.
So, first of all, you have your feigning couch. Located at all exits and strategically placed throughout the reading area. Should you experience an overwhelming swoon, please collapse gracefully onto the nearest Wanton Wallflower approved feigning chaise. Please don't just fall on the floor and hit your head.
No, yeah, we don't want that.
We want to make sure you hear the story and that we can give you books. If you're on the floor and passed out, we can't.
That does make it difficult. Yes. Number 2, tell us, Nicki.
Smelling salts. We have extra strength Regency grade smelling salts. on hand for when the perfect night whispers anything along the lines of, "Come, little witch, the water is hot."
Ooh. And number 3.
Hydration stations. Complimentary goblets of iced lemonade and white wine will be available. The wine is for sipping, not for dramatically flinging upon one's chest when overwhelmed by sinful descriptions of rippling muscles. Yes, and a vinaigrette. We do. Yes, we do have the vinaigrette as well.
Oh, good. Oh, good to know. Yes. And last but not least,
Ice bucket protocol, very important. If all else fails, readers may request a medieval knight approved ice bucket to be poured over their heads. Please note, this may not lessen the heat, but it will provide comedic relief for the spectators.
and we love it. We love it. I love it so much. Disclaimers: Bee and the Wanton Wallflowers are not responsible for sudden gasping, excessive fanning, wayward Regency garments being hastily loosened, or the unshakable desire to duel for one's honor in a tournament. Nikki?
If you're seated in the splash zone, warning, the splash zone guests may experience temporary night-related delusions, including but not limited to seeking out jousting tournaments, attempting to travel through time via Stonehenge, and unexplainable urges to bathe with large, handsome warriors. You will get wet.
Too much fun. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. You guys are brilliant. I adore this.
Gio did these, I have to say. They are so fun.
Her sense of humor. Oh my gosh, Gio, you're amazing. I just love it so much. Okay, so now that we've gotten the disclaimers out of the way, we are ready to read the story. And what better way to enjoy a story than through the use of Campfire, which I will now remove so we can enjoy that. Okay, and then nope, that's not it. You know, I did practice. That is also not it. For the love. Okay. Talk about comedic relief. Okay, so here we go. We've got a campfire going. We're ready. Tracy's already ready. That's so great. I love it so much. All right, everyone. If you have a coloring page, go ahead and start coloring. We are going to hear the beginning of this story, and it is called Wanton and the Perfect Night. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Okay, that would be my watch. And I want to say I'm not going to be interjecting anything of my own. There are so many hilarious things written by Gio, and I just want you to know that a lot of it is just how I would talk. It's so funny. So I'm not saying one word that is not my own. This is all Gio, and I'm just so excited to share this with you tonight. So here we go. All night long, Wanton Wallflower traipsed through Stonehenge, her skirts swishing as she stepped over ancient rocks and questionable puddles. Goodness gracious, why in science's name had she accepted this mission to prove that time travel was nothing but a fairy tale spun by rogues and rascals? Now here she was, carrying only her goodwill and the Lady's Guide to Lost Time. At the center of the stones, she stopped. With a sigh, she opened the book on the chapter, Falling Through the Folds of Time Without Ruining Your Petticoats. To transport oneself through the veil of time, one must chant this spell. A spell! How charming! Wanton cleared her throat and read aloud. Through veils time I call my fate, past and present oscillate. By moonlit stone and whispered air, take me to a when, not where. She paused. Nothing happened. She sighed, snapping the book shut. Oh, what absolute poppycock! Suddenly, a gust of wind roared through the stone circle. The air crackled. Her skirts snapped against her legs, and the ground dropped beneath her feet. And before she could shriek, the entire universe gave a decisive plop, and Wanton hit the ground with a most unladylike oomph. She blinked. Gone were the weathered stones of Stonehenge. In its place, chaos, dust, horses, 1,000 screaming men. She was sitting in the middle of a jousting arena. Screams and gasps erupted from the crowd. From somewhere to her left, a voice bellowed, "A witch! She's a witch!" Well, that escalated quickly. Wanton scrambled to her feet, lifted her skirts, and did what any reasonable person would do when faced with a bloodthirsty medieval mob. She ran for her life. Panting, she dodged a barrel, leaped over a startled chicken, and sprinted past a very alarmed monk clutching his rosary. Oh my, her stays were far too tight for this. She had reached the arena's edge when burly hands clamped around her. A man with dubious hygiene in a fur-trimmed robe hauled her back, his face red with exertion and self-righteousness. "She's a witch!" he cried. "She appeared from thin air. She wears strange foreign garb. She must be put to the flame of justice." A roar of agreement swept through the crowd. Wanton blinked. "Great merciful petticoats! I am not a witch, and I'll have you know I am not particularly combustible." She lied, knowing her bonnet alone would burst into flames faster than fireworks in Vauxhall. "All things burn, demon." The official brandished his staff. Was that really necessary? And turned to the throne at the far end of the arena. "Your Majesty, she must be tested by fire." Oh, no. They had a king. A big, bejeweled, and bored-looking majesty lounged on a medieval throne, tapping his many rings against the armrest. He squinted at Wanton as if deciding whether she was worth the effort. "Burn her," he said with a lazy wave. Wanton opened her mouth, prepared to launch into an impassioned defense of both her innocence and her highly flammable wardrobe, when a new voice rang out. "I challenge this verdict." A ripple of shock and excitement tore through the crowd. Wanton turned and was dazzled by a flash of light to rival the sun. A perfect knight, clad in silver armor, astride a white warhorse, his blue eyes inspecting her from bonnet to slippers. "She is no witch," the knight declared, his voice a deep bass that almost melted her corset. "I shall joust for her innocence." The next thing she knew, she was sitting on a very uncomfortable bleacher, balancing a wilted flower crown atop her head. The perfect knight stood before her. Wanton shivered. Her retinas were simply not prepared for his level of magnificence. "My lady," he said solemnly, "might I bear a token of your favor?" Wanton squinted. "Favor?" "Oh, those little trinkets medieval ladies gave their knights for luck." She patted herself down. She had no veil, no handkerchief, not even a ribbon to offer. Wanton had a biscuit. It was hardly the stuff of legend, but it was nutritious. That had to count for something, right? She held it out to him. "For strength." The perfect knight nodded gravely, took the biscuit, and tucked it into his breastplate. When he rode away, Wanton sat back, smoothing her skirts, still not on fire, thank you very much, and attempted to collect herself. Her perfect knight had just accepted a life or death jousting match in her honor. And while that was thrilling, she had more pressing concerns, namely, how to get the devil out of there before anyone started waving torches again. What was the return spell? Something about unraveling fate? "To the heart of time I make my plea," she whispered. Yes, that sounded right. "Unravel fate and set me tea?" No, 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 she was not a blasted kettle. Tree? Knee? Bee? This was a disaster. She was going to be burned at the stake for bad poetry. Byron had critics, but this was just too much. The trumpet sounded. Her gaze snapped back to the arena. Two knights were about to murder each other on her behalf, and all she could think about was how terribly distracting the perfect knight's thighs looked in full armor. The opposing knight pointed his lance at her, his voice dripping with doom. "This sorceress has bewitched the soul of a righteous man." Honestly, was everyone dramatic in the Middle Ages? For heaven's sakes, just ride already. The perfect knight lowered his lance and inclined his head in a manner that was both regal and so gorgeous that it must be a crime against womanhood. If the Dark Knight were female, he would have been felled on the spot. A horn sounded. The knights charged. The crowd erupted as the Dark Knight fell, hard, into the dust. His body sprawled like a roast goose who had just been utterly basted. Wanton gasped, "Great merciful poultry!" The perfect knight rode past him without sparing so much as a glance, his silver armor gleaming in the last golden light of day, his cape fluttering behind him like a victory banner. Wanton exhaled. Well, that was that. Time to figure out the spell to return. Still, his warhorse thundered across the jousting field, dust kicking up in swirling clouds, his blue gaze locked onto her. What could he possibly want now? She had already given him a biscuit. Perhaps she had another in her reticule. By the time she had concluded her search, the knight was upon her. Without a single word, he swept her off her feet and onto his horse. "Wait!" The crowd exploded into cheers. The king toasted. The Dark Knight groaned from the dirt. Wanton barely had time to gasp before he pulled her against the hard planes of his chest. The horse wheeled around and took off, galloping straight into the sunset. And Wanton, clutching the knight's shoulders, her skirts billowing behind them, her heart pounding in a way that was entirely too enjoyable, could only manage one breathless thought. At least she didn't have to worry about a ride home. Some leagues later, she entered a keep. No, not a keep, but a monument to medieval masculinity. All stone, fire, and a lingering scent of horses and leather. She found herself in a chaperone's nightmare, standing in the knight's bedchamber, the massive hearth blazing, casting golden light over the tapestries and the weapon racks. A bath waited by the fire, tendrils of mist curling into the air like a sorcerer's spell. And before her, the perfect knight waited, staring at her with a hunger that could devour kingdoms. Wanton swallowed hard. This was not the expression of a man preparing to compose a sonnet about the purity of her soul. Oh dear. She tried to recall exactly when the Middle Ages bards had invented the concept of chivalric love, the sort that emphasized longing sighs and noble restraint instead of, well, ravishment. Because this tall, broad-shouldered, blue-eyed warrior looked about as chivalrous as a wolf at a sheep's convention. He stepped forward. "You have a smudge here," he said, his voice a deep bass that made her innards vibrate. Then he brushed his thumb over her cheek. "Oh, her poor knees. The dears would never recover from this." Slowly, he traced her lower lip. "So soft." Wanton's breath hitched. The firelight turned the blue of his eyes to liquid silver. This level of attractiveness should come with a warning label. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice uneven, "for saving my life." "As if I'd let another claim you." A muscle in his jaw tensed. "You are mine. Not even the fire of justice takes you away from me." "So you don't believe me innocent?" "How could I, if you have bewitched me?" Her stomach flipped, twirled, and landed in an undignified heap. "Think, Wanton! Respond with grace and intelligence!" But he was already turning and reaching for the buckles of his armor. "Help me remove it." She pursed her lips. "You wouldn't happen to have a can opener around here, would you?" "I'll guide you," he said, placing her hand against the first buckle at his shoulder. His warm skin brushed against her knuckles as she unfastened the strap, and the pauldron slid free, revealing the bronzed curve of his shoulder. Fine. Nothing alarming about a shoulder. She moved to the next strap, her fingertips grazing the ridge of his collarbone. The chest plate came next. Oh dear. The moment it dropped to the floor with a heavy clang, she was met with hard muscle, golden skin, and the distinct realization that someone, somewhere, had lost the recipe for making men like this. Had the Regency forgotten? Had they simply decided that sculpted torsos and V-shaped waists were unfashionable? She should have to bring this up at the next flowery spinsters meeting. Licking her lips, she reached for his gauntlets. When she freed his hands, he caught her wrist. Wanton squeaked, a most undignified sound. But in her defense, he was very, very shirtless and very, very close. His mouth descended on hers, a devastating kiss that sucked the very breath from her lungs. His hand fisted in her hair, tilting her head back, forcing her open for him. And oh, dear sweet Regency saints, the heat of him, the sheer power, the unyielding strength of his body pressing against hers. Someone call a chaperone. This was a virtue emergency. Her fingers curled into his arms, gripping him, holding on to him because, dear heavens, the man could kiss. Who was the sorcerer now? A deep masculine groan rumbled through him, vibrating straight into her bones, and he released her. Wanton stared up at him, dazed. He smirked as if aware of how his touch had set her aflame. "You asked me to undress you, sir," she said icily and paced away from him, smoothing her hands over a body on fire. "And I don't like to be interrupted." Behind her, she heard a rustling, followed by a solid thud. She turned back. The perfect knight stood before her, utterly naked. She gaped. The firelight kissed every rugged ridge of his body. His bronzed skin stretched over sculpted muscle, a physique forged from war, duty, and the sheer audacity of being born in an era before gentlemen sat around sipping port and pinching snuff. He lifted one brow, his blue eyes gleaming with amusement. "Something wrong, my lady?" Oh, bards help her. What had happened with her motor faculties? Focus, Wanton. Just because the man looked like he was hand-carved by Michelangelo did not mean she had to lose her wits. Her gaze trailed downward and downward. Heaven help her virtue. Stop staring, Wanton. Her eyes snapped up. Higher, higher, anywhere else. That's when she saw it. A line of the text was stretched across the sinful plane of his test. It was the spell. "To the heart of time I make my plea, unravel fate and set me free." While she studied her ticket home, he studied her, his blue eyes gleaming with amusement and hunger. "I'm a large man, little witch, but you don't need to be afraid." A wave of heat rushed to her face. He thought she was gaping at his proportions. She stepped back only to bump into the wall. He reached out, caging her in, his body all firm muscle, heated skin, and ruinous temptation. The spell's words taunted her, right there on his too perfect, too powerful chest. "Come, little witch, the water is hot." Oh, hellfire and damnation! She could be responsible, say the spell, go home, and resume her perfectly acceptable life. Or she could give in to temptation, just a little, just a tiny bit, for scientific purposes, of course, because it would be unforgivable, really, to reject such a rare research opportunity. He pressed closer, his maleness hot against her stomach. "Oh, dear heavens, that's not a dagger, is it?" she asked. Smiling, he brushed his callous thumb over her collarbone, his touch setting her body aflame, even without a torch. "No, it isn't," he murmured, his voice dropping into a wicked purr. His other hand found her hips, fingers pulsing, pressing, possessive. "But I promise you, it's far more effective at making a lady scream." And that is where we end. Gio, you are amazing. I love Tracy. Get it, girl. That was so much fun.
I was sitting here thinking B needs to be an audio narrator, and I look over, and in the comments, so many people are saying V should be an audio narrator.
I had a lot of fun.
You are so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And
Well,
the story was amazing. Of course, I do know the story, but
Yeah.
it makes me giggle. Some of the stuff just makes me giggle so
oh
hard.
my gosh. Yeah. Gio made it so easy. It was so fun. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. Okay. So now, ladies, it is time to decide, will she be going home or will she? Okay. So I think I need to stop the screen. This is where they just changed StreamYard like yesterday, just a smidge, just enough to make me go, wait. So here's your next step, ladies. What we're going to do is we are going to head here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I've got so many tabs open. As always, let me close some of these because I don't want to make a mistake and show you the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Get ready. You're going to love this. I think Gio made this too, actually. Here we are. Boom. So we're going to link this in the chat right now. You are going to have the opportunity to click either go home or go all the way with the perfect night. You are going to have 15 minutes to do this. I have created a I don't even know what to call it. It's something. It's not masterful. Just go with it. It's a 15-minute countdown timer. Nicki gave me the inspiration to make one that's jousting. And just, be ready to be really intimidated by my skills with Canva. But I've got some perfect medieval music to get you in the mood as you're reading. You can read one of these. You can read both of these. We're going to come back and talk all about them. We're also going to come back and do the drawing, of course. If you have not had a chance in the chat to tell us that you would like to be entered in the drawing for the books that are up for the giveaway this evening, do let me know, either now or during our sprints. As I said, it's 15 minutes. Envision a jousting match that's going very slowly, essentially. So, and I, again, like, if Nicki or Gio had created this, I can't even imagine how amazing it would be, but this is something I made. So I'm going to link the site in the chat so you can just click. I love Elbow. We all need scientific research. Yes. Okay, good. I'm still seeing people entering the drawing, wanting the giveaway. Here is the link. You can click that, and then you get to decide to go home, go all the way, which one or both. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about it. Enjoy some medieval music, and we're going to come back in 15 minutes. You can color, and yeah, let me know if you want to enter in the giveaway, and I'll be putting that together during our sprints. Am I forgetting anything, ladies? No? Okay, just want to make sure. Again, there's so many plates spinning. I'm just making sure. All right, let's get started. And there you have it. The Red Knight has come out victorious. My incredible illustrations there.
I think it is wonderful, B. I love it.
Thank you so much. I had a great time, but I was like, wow, this is really challenging. I started with the roses on their shields, and they looked so good, but the animation was the roses were like trailing behind the knights. I was like, well, this is not going to work. I kept trying over and over again to pair them. It wasn't going to happen. So I was like, I'm putting them above.
I think it's amazing.
It was fun. It was really fun to make. So you guys are very good sports for putting up with that. But the music was so fun. And
yeah.
Thank you, Nicki, for that idea to do that. So
it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right. Well, so all of our Red Knights, as I mentioned, if you voted for Red, and I totally forgot. It was the beginning of or the middle of the sprints when I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to tell the extra fun bit. So yes. Oh no, some people are so sad that they're Yellow Knights.
I was yellow. And colored. Did anybody color? I didn't finish yet.
Oh!
And half colored pencils.
Oh, I love it. Well, if your knight didn't win, he is going to need to be nursed back to health. So, it's a win. There's no one that doesn't win, I think, in this scenario. So there you go. So now it is time. What I would like to do next, actually, is I want to do a quick poll to see who did what, who read Go Home, who read Go All the Way. I'm going to put it in the comments here so you can click it. We're going to watch this happen live. Who went home, who went all the way, and who did both. So let's see. I'm going to pop this. Oh, we're getting votes already. Here we go, guys. There we go. Okay. Oh. Oh, interesting. I wonder if anyone went home. I'm so curious.
This is so fun.
Isn't it fun? I love this type of voting. Yeah. I love seeing the pie chart move. The only tricky part, and people who have been on my show quite a few times are aware, you can vote more than once. And some people I think might do that. So if everyone could just vote one time, that'd be lovely. So I don't see anyone going home. I definitely want to talk about it. I'll leave this up for another minute so people can vote. But then I want to talk about what you thought about each version, especially for those of you that read both. I enjoyed both. What about you, Nicki? Did you get to read both?
I did both. So I would have chosen All the Way. But because I was editing for Gio real quick before so I did both. And I love them both. But if I was just going to choose one, I would have done All the Way.
And what about you, Gio? I know obviously you wrote these, which again, like amazing. Would you have gone home or would you have gone all the way?
All the way.
Like, no question. I love it. Okie doke. Well, it appears that the vast majority actually most people did both. I love it. Yeah. I love it. A little more than half. How fun. So let's talk about these.
L. Bell said for scientific purposes, of course.
So perfect. So not a soul went home. I read all the way first, then went home. I read both, but stayed first. I read both, but Go All the Way was my first choice. Yeah. All the way. Loved it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So fun. Yeah. I loved the spicy bits. I thought it was so beautifully written. And I just felt like now I need to know like what's going to happen next. It was so much fun. So Gio, tell us, like, when you were writing this, did you find that one part really spoke to you versus another, or I'm sure you had a very fun time writing this, but how did it go?
I write the Go Home version because there is always somebody who says, oh, I think she wants to go home. And then there is that option. I have much more fun writing the all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Guilty as charged.
Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I just love it. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, let me make sure I don't miss anything. Also, shout out to Gio's awesome dress.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Oh.
I
You
know.
were
I was wishing I had one. I was so.
I was telling them I bought something too and it was delayed. I was like, oh man. So there you go.
So now we have to do this again so B can wear a new dress.
What a shame. What a shame. Terrible. Jackie says, all the way. Ditto, I read all the way first, but needed more Geo Genius. Oh, I love that, Albel. How perfect. So I read Go Home too.
Thank you. It's an alliteration, not also. Geo Genius is has a ring to it. I love it.
We love that. We love that. Read all the way first and then go home. But if I could only choose one, it would be all the way. And I love what Nicole said earlier in the comments talking about Frank Sinatra. I was like, oh, that's great. I love that. I love that. Gorgeous, Geo. Yes, the dress is so gorgeous. Tracy says all the way, but I had to read both. Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. I really wanted to. Lovely dress. Absolutely, says Wyoming. And Silly, her dog, who's joining us as well. Oh, look at you. You're in the comments too. Geo's everywhere. She's here. She's there. She's everywhere. I just had to read both. Love it. I love it so much. Okay. So without further ado, I think we can do the Wheel of Names to do the giveaways. I am so thrilled. We are going to be spinning twice, actually. There's 2 chances to win, and a huge number of people have entered. So I'm really excited. So let's talk about the first winner is going to receive bundle number 1, which includes Kathryn Le Veque's Unending Love, Virginie Marconato's A Savior for Bronwyn, and Steffy Smith's The Bonniest Lass in Scotland. So now we are going to, this is, it always takes me a moment. Where are we going? Here we go. Look at this wheel. Good night. There's so many people that entered. So I wish everyone good luck. We will now find out who is going to win the first bundle. Stacey Hoffman. Stacey, as I mentioned, you are winning Kathryn Le Veque's Unending Love, Virginie Marconato's A Savior for Bronwyn, and The Bonniest Lass in Scotland. And we will be with you shortly to get in touch and figure out, we'll get it to you. So excited for these 3. Now we also have bundle number 2, which includes Steffy Smith's Highland Heartbreaker, Kathryn Le Veque's Master of the Dawn, and Steffy Smith's Her Viking Savior. And now we will head back over here. Oh, why do they do this to me? They make me remove things. We're removing it. We're going over here. Welcome to the inner consciousness going on. All right, everybody. Good luck to all. Let's do this. Crystal! Books Forever After. I wasn't sure who that was. I love that Crystal also told me who her name was. She's like, I don't know if you know my name. Yes, Crystal, I know your name. Books Forever After. I love it. So, Crystal, you also have won this evening. And again, you have won Highland Heartbreaker, Master of the Dawn, and Her Viking Savior. But wait, there's more. Now, Gio, do you want to tell us anything else?
Okay, so we've been writing the stories in January, and we want to give you as a gift the story from January, from February, and also this one, the All Night Long for March. So
Yes.
you can download it and it's yours. And
Yes.
Nikki can talk about the happy ever afters.
Oh, yes. So we also have, for those of you who haven't, and we only have this for 2 more weeks where you can get it for free. We have Happy Ever Afters, which there are 6 of us from the Wanton Wallflowers who have novellas or short stories in this, and so it's free. It is on Book Funnel. So you can go there and get that for free for, I think, like one more. It's like 1 more week. That's free.
So exciting.
Yay.
Yeah.
And
So
to download these novels, all you have to do is get this link that B just posted,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's all there.
Yeah, so you can click on the link. Everyone Wins Happily Ever Afters by the fabulous, oh my gosh, there's so many tabs open. I tell you what, with me and my tabs, Cecilia Rennie, Giovanna Siniscalchi, Catherine Grant, Lizzie C. Cause, Misty Urban, and of course, Nicki Pascarella herself. Free downloads. And again, as Gio was just saying, and then I didn't have the slide up at the time, we have the books from January and February, and then of course March's book. January being is it Entrenched with the Grenadier? I love it. Stranded on a battlefield, rescued by a shirtless soldier. Oops. Another wanton wallflower adventure. This one was their February book. She Came for Solitude. She got a neighbor named Casanova, who is, my heavens, these guys are gorgeous. And then, of course, the one we just enjoyed this evening, Accused of Witchcraft, Saved by a Night, Ravished in a Bathtub. That's all night long. So perfect.
Yeah, and Gio does these. They're so cool. The ladies in the Wanton Wallflowers, like sometimes I tear up. My heart is so warm because these ladies are so awesome, and they each have their little thing that they do. And Gio does these every Tuesday, and she does these interactive stories so that everybody has a vote. The Wallflowers actually vote on like what comes up in her stories and different characters, and so they're really interactive and really fun.
Mm-hmm. Truly. And I just want to, again, a plug for the Wanton Wallflowers, the Facebook group, which is linked in the description box. And I'm just going to pop over there very, very briefly so that you can see the amazingness that is this. I'm just so impressed. And I've, of course, joined. I could not help myself. I was so excited. But it says they've got new members all the time. As she mentioned, the interactive stories. I love some of the things that Nikki, did you just post these today? Like Trope Bingo, the survival kit.
Yeah, Gio posted those today. So all day long on Tuesdays, we each have a day of the week that I do. Gio does these interactive stories. Lizzie just did a super, super fun March Madness where we voted for like our ultimate book boyfriend or fictional boyfriend, and so every like kind of like the basketball thing, so every week we voted, and we're down now I think to our last 2 hunks where we're voting. I think it's there you can see Theo James and Johnny, so I don't know who, do we know who won yet? We don't know yet if Theo or Johnny won. And then, but anyway, so we have that going on. So we have a March Madness hunk kind of thing going on. On Sundays, we have all the new releases for all historical romance. Emily Windsor does that. We have Kathryn Grant, who has a podcast, so we get to see clips of her podcast. I do read-alongs on Saturdays, so I pick a book for a book of the month, and so we do like interactive read-alongs. So it's just, and Friday, Cece is so funny. She has like the most hysterical, just like little fun things to do. And Misty is super into history, so she gives us like little history lessons on Monday. So it's just super duper fun.
I love it. I love it. And Tracy's saying Happily Ever After is so very good. Perfect little reads. Just tacking on to that. And Nikki, I wanted to share your website as well. Because it talks a little bit more about how you contribute to the Wanton Wallflowers, the read-alongs. I love it.
And I do little arts and crafts. So I do a mood board each week or each month So you can like click on it and see my mood board that I did for the story that I'm reading.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is so fun, Nicki.
Yeah. And then I always put up whatever our upcoming event. We have I'm not announcing the authors yet, but we have a May Romance Spring Festival coming up on May 10th. I haven't advertised it yet, but we have some really surprise authors coming that are going to visit us. So I will release all of that soon. I'm still confirming with a couple authors. We have some people I think people will be really excited about. So
how incredible!
Do our Romance Spring Festival with us.
Oh my gosh, everyone has to join. That's so fun. I love it. VRC, I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I love all your stories and books, Gio. How fun. Oh, it's so true. So very true.
Thank you, Percy.
I was just singing your praises, Gio, for books that I read over the winter, and I included 3 Days to Be Ruined. Oh my gosh, it was Christmas novella, right? Was it a novella? It went so fast, hard to tell because all your books go so fast, but just so yummy, so delicious. Love, love, love. Well, with that, our evening is rapidly drawing to a close. I can't believe it. This has been so amazing. I'm so grateful that I got to participate, truly. Now, is there anything else that you ladies would like to say before we go?
I wanted to thank you, B, for being such an amazing person, such amazing hostess for Historical Romance. I love your channel, and it is an amazing honor to have you read the story tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so wonderful. It was an honor to read your story. It was the highlight of my month, at least.
I had so much fun. Thank you so much. Really, really.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and just thank you to everyone for coming. And thank you, B. Gio worked so hard on this. She's one of the sweetest people I have met, and she put her heart into this. And so watching her come true, her little dream come true, B, thank you for that. And thank you to everyone who came.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys.
Such a lovely evening, and we are going to be keeping our tabs on you guys. We're just so excited for everything that's coming up. So much fun in store. So, alrighty. Well, with that, we are going to say good evening. Is there a good way to say good evening in the medieval period, or was there something that was said? Or did they just say good morrow? That would be in the morning.
Good morrow, yeah.
I should have Gio write the ending here.
Yeah.
And we do need to get email addresses from our two ladies who won.
Yes, I will. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have, now I know how to get in touch with Crystal. Tracy Hoffman, the first winner. Thank you, by the way. See you on the morrow. Thank you.
See you on the morrow. Good.
Buena notte. Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Tracy, if you could email me or message me on Instagram.
Stacy. Right?
Stacy. Sorry.
Did I write it wrong? Okay.
No, I'm sure you're right.
Okay.
Good. I'm really thankful I made one more mistake before we left. Didn't want to leave without one more. Okay, so that would be Stacy Hoffman. I'm so sorry, Tracy and Stacy. If you can email me and just let me know your contact information that you prefer to use, that would be lovely. The next live, I have a live show on Thursday morning instead of Friday, the usual. We're going to be talking to Lucia Damisa, whose new Romantasy has just come out today. She's an incredible human, and I'm so excited to elevate her and the amazing book that she's written. So we'll be doing that at 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So looking forward to that. So we'll be seeing you then. And of course, as I mentioned, we're going to be keeping tabs on Gio and Nicki. Can't wait. All right. Well, thank you all. We will see you on the morrow. Good night. Thank you again. This was wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye.